Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the
Podcast.
I'm your host Felix,
And I'm Cass.
and today we're going to be looking at a literal work of art. All right, a recent favorite of mine, and that is The Joker. It came out in 2019.
Yeah, it's a fairly new film.
Yeah, has Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz, that's my girl.
I've watched this movie before, but I think the real movie or the show that was presented to me while we were watching this was Cass's face.
I had never seen this movie. And also, it's kind of crazy because I've never really seen any spoilers either. So everything was really shocking to me. Like, except for that, the only meme I've seen from this is like where he's like dancing down the steps.
Yeah.
So I knew he was gonna do that. But besides that, everything, like, I went in completely blind. Honestly, I'm shocked that I hadn't had like main points of this movie spoiled. It's actually shocking.
Yeah, like 2 whole years, and you just didn't see not a single.
And like just didn't hear about it either.
Yeah.
And I know when it came out, it was a big deal. So I don't know how I just avoided it. But I guess it made for all the more like reactions. I was definitely in shock and awe throughout the entirety of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your face said it all. And then so it's definitely quite a thriller. I think it's like a mind fuck. It gets you into thinking about like what madness is and what's reality. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're presented with like Arthur Fleck, who's Joaquin Phoenix, and
I literally thought you said fucking Phoenix. And I was
No.
what? He's literally fucking Phoenix.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the one and only fucking Phoenix.
Fucking Phoenix.
So it's a mind fuck. It starts out pretty bland. You're just seeing like a story of, it's a sad story.
It's very sad. It definitely helps people see like mental health in a new light. I don't know. I liked how geared towards mental health it was. I thought that was kind of interesting. For him being like a villain film.
Yeah.
Like it was good. It was well made. There was.
If I had to use one word, I think this film was gritty. Very gritty and in your face.
It was definitely gritty, and it was.
Yeah.
It was dark and twisted. It was more twisted than you would even like. I don't know. Usually when you see superhero films, there's like so much fiction to them that even like in the twists, like even if they're gory or if they're intense, you're just like, oh, okay, because it like this was just so real, like real grit, real in your face.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was an amazing film for sure. Yeah. So
yeah, I guess we're gonna go through some of the breakdowns, some of the scenes that captured our hearts and minds. How some people put it on the internet. I know for the beginning, you pretty much were, just doing the usual, reviewing the movie, but then towards the end, you just like, her jaw dropped so low. I think I had to get a shovel to pick it up because it was.
I just stopped taking notes. This is also the first film that we review on here that I hadn't previously seen. So it's already, like you said, a gritty film, and it's not like I had any preparation. And it's like for the rest of the films we've done, I've seen them multiple times. It's not my first time seeing them. So I don't know. It was just a lot.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to it. So the opening scene is basically a bunch of clowns, and I'm not making a joke. It's literal clowns. They're getting ready to go to work. They're like in a back room, getting dressed, doing makeup, and they're hearing the radio, and the radio's talking about a garbage situation. And it's like this major issue that's going on in Gotham where, it makes it seem like the city's going to shit. There's trash everywhere. People are like out of work. There's a clear line between the upper class that are making money and then everybody else. So, Arthur, who's, Joaquin Phoenix, he goes out, he's finished doing his makeup, and he's just doing like propaganda for like a small shop, and he has a sign with him, and he's just like flipping the sign, doing all the crazy shit with it, and then some kids come out of nowhere, and they chase his ass like not that
They steal his
they
sign.
steal a sign, yeah.
Then they beat him up. First of all, why are teenagers such assholes? Like, you don't have anything else to do than steal this poor man's sign. Like, you're a piece of shit, but cool.
Yeah, and he goes chasing after them, which is like, hey, good for you, because you're wearing fucking clown shoes.
Yeah, he's like chasing after them, and they just beat him up, and I'm like, for no reason at all, just because I guess they had nothing else to do that day.
Yeah, so right after
but at the beginning, he's like he's sticking his like fingers in his mouth and like making faces, and he's like crying while he's like forcing himself to smile, and that already had me like, oh, we're starting off with this, so I'm in for a ride, you know. Yeah. Then he goes to see his therapist, and he tells her, I just don't want to feel so bad anymore. And I'm like, fuck. My goodness. I had a lot of feelings during this movie, and none of them were good.
So he leaves the Department of Health, and you immediately find out that he has a medical condition that causes him to forcefully laugh.
Yeah.
Because he whips out like that card.
Yeah.
He shows it to
the lady.
To the lady, yeah.
Who's being mean because like the kid was laughing at him, like making faces on the bus. So it was like a little kid looking at him, so he makes faces to make the kid laugh. And she's just like, oh, can you stop bothering my child? I'm like, listen, ma'am, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Yeah. Like, the movie started off with me being just like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody in this place? This city sucks. Move, bro. Move.
Yeah.
So that was already like bad. And then when he gets home, he's all bruised because he's like this frail little man.
Yeah. He lost a lot of weight to produce this film. Like, I think something in the lines of 60 to 80 pounds. Because he just looks like a skeleton.
He's so... honestly, when I saw him and like he checks his bruises, it reminded me of The Machinist. I think that's how you say it, with Christian Bale.
Yeah. Where
like he is sickly thin also. Yeah. I was like, wow, this is intense. But yeah, he just looks like very, very frail, which is not good. Not a good look.
Yeah. So you see him at home with his mother, and they're tuning on to the Murray Franklin show.
Yes, the Murray Franklin show.
And it's basically like the only good thing that they have going on right now. It's with, Murray Franklin is Robert De Niro. He has like his own like night show. You can clearly tell like Arthur's a little delusional because he's starting to like fully believe that he's on the show with Murray, and there's like this weird moment where he's like, Murray says to him like, oh, you're like the son I never had or whatever, and he's so grateful for him to be on the show, and then he's like, oh, you be a great dad, and it's just fucking, it was weird.
Very, very awkward, all of it. Also, like right before this, his mom told him that he's not funny pretty much, and I was like, that's kind of rude.
Yeah, because she's like, they're struggling. They're living in this tiny apartment, and he's like, oh, don't worry. Like, I'll be a comedian. We're going to get out of this. And then she, quote, says, don't you have to be funny to be a comedian?
I was like, man, everybody is really just firing guns at this man. So... yeah, that whole scene was awkward. Like, his mom was just like, you're not funny, pretty much. Yeah. And then they're watching the show together, and then I was confused because it just cuts, like, while they're watching to, like, him being in the audience and coming down, and it was very cringy. Which I guess is kind of the point of this movie, and they do a great job with that. So... once again, like when I say like, oh, it's cringy or something like that, like it's cringy on purpose. It's not like the actual acting or anything was cringy. It's like the scene was to make you feel uncomfortable and they achieved it. Like
Yeah.
we all felt uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so we cut through a little bit. He goes back into work, and one of his coworkers gives him a gun.
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, it's for your protection. You gotta, stick up for yourself, because if not, they're gonna eat you alive." So he gives him a gun, and man, I already could tell it's not a good move to get a fucking gun, And then let alone him, where you're just like, okay, he's delusional. He's going to the pharmacy to get his meds. He's seeing like a therapist at the Department of Health. I'm like, great, cool. You're, recipe for disaster. So, yeah. He gets the gun from his coworker. He goes home, and then he's playing with the fucking gun.
Yeah, while dancing. He's doing this super. I literally had like.
He has no shirt on too, so you really see the bones. Yeah,
and he's doing these weird moves, and honestly, like the hair on the back of my neck stood up. I was so uncomfortable during all this. And then he just like whips out the gun and
he's like talking to himself.
Oh my gosh!
He's just like pointing it at the sofa. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Does this bother you?" And then he like flicks it over and he shoots it and he fires it on the wall. And he turns on the TV and he plays it off like, "Mom, don't worry, it's a war movie."
She's like, "Well, turn it down."
Yeah, turn it down.
It was so funny. That scene actually made me laugh.
Yeah.
But then, it just gets worse.
Yeah, with the girl. He follows the girl.
Yeah, he's already seen, I don't know her name, but it's Zazie Beetz' character.
Yeah.
And he already, like, saw her once in the elevator.
Yeah.
And he, like, tried to make conversation with her. Well, she made, like, a thing where, like, she was annoyed at her kid, so she, like, pretended to like shoot herself with her fingers.
Yeah.
And then he like calls her and then like does the same motion back.
No, but granted, like she does it in the elevator.
Yeah.
So they get on their floor. They're like heading their way. It's like a good 10 steps away from the elevator. And he's like, "Hey."
It was so very strange.
So you're just like, ugh.
It was.
And then he follows her the next day.
Yes.
Yeah. He's literally following her
to her building.
Yeah.
And then after he follows her to her building.
Yeah, through like the subway, on the streets, to her job.
And then it shows that he goes to like that stand-up show and he starts like taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already just like, I mean, okay, what's going on? Like, because they cut from like him following her to the stand-up show so quickly that I was like, okay.
Yeah, a lot of this movie, not gonna lie, is like guessing what is reality and what isn't.
Yeah.
At one moment he's in the hospital. Another one, like when he's dancing around with the kids, and then his gun falls down, and then we kind of peer over to him, like, "Hey, why'd you bring a gun to a kid's hospital?" But
that's all real.
Yeah, but it makes you think like what. There's like a fine line between like, did he really follow her? Like through all these venues, like the subway? Is he really at a comedy club taking notes?
I think at this point in the film, I still think everything is real. And then later on is when I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Because here I'm just like, okay, he followed her. I have no doubt in my brain that this crazy man would follow her. Mm-hmm. And then he just is like, after that, he goes to the stand-up show and takes notes. And I'm like, okay, no doubt in my head. Seems like something he would do.
Yeah.
Then he drops his gun, which I know he actually has, while he's doing clown stuff at the children's hospital. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, is this uncalled for? Absolutely. Do I believe that it would happen to this man? Also, yes.
Yeah. But there's a direct quote where it's like, the boss tells him over the phone after getting, after that whole skit in the hospital. Uh-huh. He's like, "Randall told me you tried to buy a 38 off of him last week." But then, like, in the beginning of the movie, you notice, like, Randall gives him a gun.
Yeah, I think Randall's a liar.
Yeah, so it's like, Did Randall set him up? Did he really try buying a gun? There's a point where obviously the boss is like, hey, you're kind of weird.
Yeah.
I know you don't get along that well with some of the guys, and some of the guys just think you're fucking off your meds or some shit. So, did Randall really try like lying to his boss? I think so, but there's just a lot of the scenes in the movie you're just like, fuck, like.
Well, like, I think as the movie progresses, you start to doubt him more, because at the beginning you think, okay, yes, he's like messed up in the head, but he's going to therapy, he takes meds, and like you see him have that little like delusion where he thinks he's in the show.
Yeah.
But then after that, everything else kind of just seems like of a person who at this moment may not be mentally stable.
Yeah.
And they also, from the beginning, he seems to be like picked on a lot. So then you're already feeling bad for him there. So you start to think like, you start thinking like not for him, but like, yeah, like you're on his side. You think everybody else is kind of messed up,
Yeah.
But yeah, when he calls his boss, he also just like cracks cracks the glass in the phone booth with his head.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah, his day really goes from, I wouldn't say mild, but it goes definitely to some wild shit. Like when he goes on that train and there's like these 3 rich dudes trying to like fuck with this other girl.
Oh, yeah.
And then they target Arthur and then he just loses it because he's just like giggling. And he doesn't have his card to tell him like, hey, it's a medical condition. So they start fucking with him. And then he pulls out his gun and just starts shooting them.
Yeah, but honestly, wasn't upset at him when he started shooting everybody.
Yeah.
Like, this guy has had a shit week, and these people have decided to literally beat the fuck out of him just because he tried to like back up a female that they were bothering. Also, do I think 3 drunk, arrogant ass rich men would do that to a female? Absolutely. I 100% believe it. And I think that he was like just this guy who wanted to be like seen for something when he wasn't. So he just tried to like, see if he could help her.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, they start beating the fuck out of him. This guy's frail. He finally has a gun. Like, I see where he's coming from. I hate to say it. I really do. But I'm seeing it very clearly.
Hey, I mean, if it's like 3 versus 1, come on, you clearly want to do damage to the person, so.
And yeah, I'm like, and it's like, oh, okay, then he kills them, and I understand, like that's very terrible, but also these people were literally kicking him in the ribs, like they were also trying to like beat him to the point where like, oh, he doesn't maybe die, but he's like super like, messed up. And then if he would have died, they would have been like, oh damn, we didn't mean to do that. Like, yeah. So you guys are all pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But then he like kills the last guy and just starts running, and then goes into a bathroom stall and does this weird interpretive dance, which had me losing my whole mind. I was like, what is going on? Like, just uncomfy. So much uncomfortableness.
Uncomfy. And that weird fucking dance in the bathroom. Where he looks like alien, like,
He's it's like I
very good production on the movie, know.
The director, the producers, and Joaquin Phoenix, he hit it out of the park, because like I said, for them to want it to be uncomfortable, and it's actually like makes you uncomfortable, like not their acting, but like the actual scene, like that's excellent. Like, so once again, when I say like, oh, I'm uncomfortable or was cringe or stuff like that, it's really like the scenes. Like the movie was 10 out of 10. It was great.
Yeah. So now we're back at the Department of Health, and Arthur's talking to this lady again, and it's just like a whole back and forth, and he's like, I don't think you ever really hear me. All like have are negative thoughts. And then she's just like, I don't know, she just like brushes over it like nothing's going on. And she's like, hey, so they're dropping funding, and this is going to be our last session. And also, what about his meds, Yeah. It's clearly you could see like he's not going to get help anymore. He's not going to get meds anymore. like not the
She
country.
was also very dry. I was like, what a bad therapist.
Yeah.
But she was very dry in the first scene too. But then like she grabs his journal and his journal's got some weird like
Fucking weird shit.
things in it and
Yeah.
also I was a little bit frustrated in the scene before this where like he gets home and Thomas Wayne is like talking on TV and he's like, these were 3 young, striving, wonderful young men that worked for my company. And I was like, yes, the rich just thinking that everyone is a good person because they work for you. Like they were 3 pieces of shit, sir. Like you don't know a goddamn thing. Goodbye.
Yeah, I think between him on TV trying to like back up his workers and then Arthur getting just kind of like the shit end of the deal with this whole like Department of Health.
Yeah.
It's like an inflection point where like things really go from like bad shit to like worse shit.
Yeah.
And
also, we have to remember that the whole time before this, Arthur's mom, who I literally thought was like physically handicapped and could not do a thing for herself because he was like bathing her.
Yeah.
But she can.
Mm-hmm.
She's fine. Okay. She's like, oh, can you drop off this letter for Mr. Wayne? I know he'll help us. And she just keeps saying that. Yeah. She does it several times. There's several letters. She wants to check if there's a letter back. And the whole time you're just like, what is the deal here? I'm confused. Like, it's like not, it's more like an underlying thing, but they just keep reiterating it throughout the movie. And I'm like, okay, something's happening here. Right? So then, after this, he goes to the stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
And he's doing his best to deliver a joke. My God.
But he is just, like, laughing.
His condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's laughing because of his condition.
Yeah.
But then, like, people start laughing along with him, and you're like, oh, yay, it's going somewhere. And then our girls in the audience, and then after they walk around and they go get lunch well, it's not lunch.
Yeah, they go to like to get a donut or like a diner.
A hot dog. Yeah. They're just like doing like a few things around the city and talking. Mm-hmm. And it seems really nice, you know? Also, there's a scene before this. Before he goes to the comedy club and all this, there's like a scene where he knocks on her door and then you see him go in and them hook up. This is before this. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, I think after this, the mom's asking him to take a letter again, which is why I brought it up. Mm-hmm. And he finally opens this letter because, you know, I get it. When your mom's asking you to do this stuff, like, constantly, like, he's just like, okay, what does this lady want with this man? Yeah. Because clearly it's very serious.
Yeah. It's like either he could probably make it better, like, help out in some way to you know, find what she's looking for or, like, just figure out what the fuck is going on, you know?
Yeah, because it's like...
And he ends up reading it.
And then it says that Thomas Wayne is Arthur's dad. That's what it says. Mm-hmm. That's what it says. I'm just trying to go in sequential order here when I get my mind blown, okay?
This motherfucker loses his shit so much that he ends up boarding a train and going to the Wayne Manor. Yes. And then that whole scene with fucking this little kid who immediately you don't know it's Bruce. But clearly, I know because I've seen it. But he's doing like magic tricks and like putting his fingers in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
In the kid's mouth, not his own mouth.
I was like, if a stranger stuck their hands in my mouth, I would lose my entire shit. I don't care if I was a little kid. I would be like, ugh, like, especially now during COVID times, like, sir, disgusting. Mm-hmm. Also, like, his fingers are dirty. Like, that is not a clean man. No offense to him.
No, he's literally going from his apartment, going on a train. Yeah. Getting off the train, walking to the fucking manor.
So many germs.
Like, from there to there, bro.
Germs. Germ central on your fingers. In a child's mouth.
Yeah, and then you see Alfred come up, and he's just like, Bruce, what are you doing? And then you're like, oh, okay, so it's Alfred, you know, and Bruce, yeah. So, and he's just
I'm like, oh my God, Bruce is his brother. Ah! Ah! Mind
Okay.
blown. And then I think he gets kicked out after this.
Well, he was never in the house, but
Well,
it's just
no, he's
like,
by the gates, but they're
yeah.
just like, get out of here.
Yeah, it's just like, there is no them. There's no fucking Thomas Wayne and Penny. That
Yeah.
never happened. Like,
Yeah.
she's crazy. And he
Yeah.
doesn't like that. He's like, don't call my mom
Yeah.
crazy, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And then like right after that, when he goes home, his mom is like in an being taken in an ambulance.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's like a lot of stuff just going on here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just when you think your day couldn't go to any worse, his own mother in a stretcher. And then, man, can we just talk about that scene in the hospital where Murray ends up playing a video recording of Arthur at the comedy club? And they're just like...
Oh, I'm sorry. Before this, isn't he outside, like, upset at the world?
Oh, yeah,
and,
smoking.
And, like, the cops come up to him, and he's like... He says some, like, shit where he's like, well, I don't have to talk to you, and I'm not going to. And then, like, goes to walk away, like, all smoothly, and just slams into, like, the sliding door, because it says exit. I'm just like... Mm-hmm. Oh my God. And then he just stands there and tries waving at it.
Yeah.
And then the cops are like, that's the exit. Oh my God, I wanted to die. And I wasn't even in the situation. And then finally, like, someone comes out the exit route, so he gets to go in. But, oh, no, it was so bad.
Another perfect cringy moment.
So cringy. But then, yes, they made that, like, they're making fun of him on TV. And I don't think he, like, 100% comprehends that he's the joke.
Yeah.
That he's not funny.
No, he's just like, oh shit, I'm on TV with, like, my make-believe dad, Murray.
Yeah. And then, like, but he sees it, like...
I think he kind of noticed it, like, a little after the joke. Like, after Murray says, like, look at this Joker.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, oh, am I the joke? So, yeah, I mean, fuck. Tremenda, like, I can't breathe on that.
Yeah,
that
I'm
scene.
just...
And then you see his little girlfriend there, you know, on the couch, going to get him some coffee.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
And
then they just cut to that scene where, like, the rich are doing, like, this film, like a film release at a museum.
Oh, and then, like, all the people with the clown masks,
yeah,
or clown, like, face paintings are, like, protesting.
Yeah, they're protesting in front of them. Like, all the rich are out there, like, fucking enjoying their lives, while everybody else is, like, can't eat, can't find a job. There's, like, dirt everywhere.
And I think that you're right. Now that I think about it, like, he's watching the Murray video, and then, like, he's feeling, like, confident at first, then he's just like, oh, they're kind of making fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, it's like when they cut to the protesting, he's like, oh, like, he's proud of himself. He realizes this is because of me. Like, I caused this. And I think that's why he's just like, you know, I'm doing all right. Like, I don't know. It was a moment where, like, he felt proud of himself, which happened 0 other times throughout this film.
Yeah, enough so to want to go sneak into that fucking screening and confront Thomas Wayne about being his dad.
Yes.
And I think there's really good lighting and, like, perspective on the movie but it just shows very good distinctions between Thomas Wayne and Arthur, where Thomas Wayne almost looks not godlike, but he has, like, this presence to him where he's, like, glowing, he's full-bodied. Arthur, on the other hand, is... It's,
like, gray. Yeah, and like, frail. Like, I wrote this note where, like, in this frame in the bathroom, where he follows him into the bathroom, like, the entire scene is so full of light. Like, the bathroom is also, like, godlike. Like, it's, like, you know, it's white and pristine, and there's, like, hints of gold, and Thomas also looks, like, very full, and, like you're saying, and then Arthur's, like, you're just dull and gray and, like, dull. I said that already. I said dull twice. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Cool cast. Great job.
Dull squared.
Also, before this, I forgot to mention that this is when you kind of start to see what's real and what's not, because when Murray plays that tape, you realize that no one's laughing in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
That it's silence the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, okay. But that was just a side note. But let's go back to him and Thomas. Because then Thomas punches him like square in the face.
Yeah.
Which is so sad.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did he do that? Like, I understand that he's being crazy as well. Like, the Joker, Arthur, is being very, you know, he's in his head and he's saying things and maybe they don't make sense. But he could have easily just walked away. Like, he was not going to be overpowered.
Well, I think to Thomas's defense, he knows that Arthur went to his house.
Yeah.
And he, like, I don't want to say he was being defensive of Bruce, but, you know, this dude came to their house and was playing with
his fingers in his kid's mouth.
I mean, I don't think he would know that, but he knows that Arthur did something because Alfred obviously would have told him.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, oh, so you're coming for me too? Like, you know, what's next? You're gonna go for my wife or?
Yeah, but then he like punches him, and I think he also knew. You can all tell that this man is very, like, a fragile man. Mm-hmm. So he punches him, and he falls to, like, the ground.
Yeah. And
that's why he keeps talking to him after, because he's like, oh, well, now I put you down. So I'm like, he wasn't punching this guy because he thought it was going to be a fair fight.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, but... And then he talks to him about how Peggy, his mom...
Yeah.
It was... She's never had a kid. She adopted him.
Yeah.
Then she had, like... some delusional psychosis.
Yeah, but you find that out when he steals the file.
No, but he tells him, like, at that scene where he's like, you're adopted.
Oh, yeah, but he just said, like, oh, like, she was delusional. Because then in the next scene, when he grabs the file, is when he officially reads that it's like delusional psychosis and narcissistic personality disorder. Yeah. He just tells him, like, oh, your mom was, like, delusional. Like, she needed help.
Yeah.
And between this and this, we also miss when he gets to his house, takes everything out of the fridge, and then inserts his whole body into the fridge and closes the door. Where I was just like, oh, okay, that's what we're gonna do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. No, yeah, makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, he's clearly slipping into madness at this point. He's just losing his shit.
Yes. But then they do call him to be on the show, which is real. Mm-hmm. It's a real thing. It's not a delusion. It's all there. It's real. So he's like super excited. And he's like, I'll be there. Yeah. Then he goes to the hospital. What is it called? The
Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
No, wasn't it called like Arkham Mental Hospital? You called it Arkham Asylum. And then when it popped up on the top, it said Arkham State Facility, I think is what it said, actually. I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
I'm just so used to, like, being Arkham Asylum from, like, all the games
exactly.
and the movies.
Because I remember you were like, oh, yeah, she was in Arkham Asylum, and then it popped up on the screen. I'm like, not what it says, but okay. So, yeah, but then this is when he's asking for the file, and then the guy that's going to give him the file, which I don't know his name, but I really liked that him and Zazie Beetz are both from Atlanta, because I watched that show on FX, because I love me some Childish Gambino. But anyways, I was like, oh, look at them. But homie reads the file before giving it to him, which he was easily going to give him the file without a problem. And then he reads it, and he's just like, this is some fucked up shit in here, which we don't know yet. But you could just tell. He's like, oh, man, actually, like, I can't give this to you. Like, I would need your mom to be here, sign off on it, since it's her paperwork. So you're just already, like, intrigued. Like, what is it that is so bad that is in here? Because maybe she does have this, like, delusional psychosis, but I don't think that would have been a big enough reason for him to have, like, made that face and been so concerned about giving him the file. Yeah. But then homie steals it. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, it is what it is. And this is where we find out that she has delusional psychosis and narcissistic personality disorder. And that she let her boyfriend at the time beat him and tied him to a radiator where he had head trauma. And I'm like, no wonder he is so fucked up. That is so sad.
Yeah.
Like, and you also find out that he is adopted.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, it kind of goes back in time where she really, like, adopted him to kind of tell Thomas that, like, this was his child, which also makes no sense because she was never pregnant. There was a lot going on there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
and then, yeah, when they're, like, when in the notes, it's like, oh, yeah, we found him tied to a radiator. And I'm like, that's sad. And I know it's sad. It's, like, the kind of stuff I listen to on my true crime podcasts. So it hit. I was like, this is really sad.
Yeah.
And then these are my 3 last notes, my 3 last bullet points. And I just want to, like, just say them back to back because I thought it's so funny now that I, like, look at them again. After this, I got very invested in the movie. I had to have my full attention to the screen, so I didn't take any more notes, but I can recall things. But I wrote, I have no words. Oh my God, his whole relationship with her is just a delusion. OMG, he killed his mom. Those are my last 3 notes. And then I was like, well, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, you find out that his whole relationship with Homegirl was a lie.
Yeah.
Like, he just made this whole thing up.
Yeah, because he ends up showing up at her apartment.
Yeah.
And she's like, your name's Arthur, right? Please, I have my daughter sleeping in the other room.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh my God, she has no idea. And that their last encounter was probably that time on the elevator. Mm-hmm. And then they replay all the scenes that you've seen throughout the movie with her and realize it's just been him alone.
Yeah.
Whew. Eso está heavy, like you would say. It was intense. And then, because he read about the stuff with his mom, also that scene kind of got me nervous because then you never hear anything more about them. And I'm like, did he kill her? Is she alive? I do like movies like this. Like, I'm probably going to review a few movies where the ending, you're just like, what? But I was still like, what's going on? You know, I was so confused. I hope she's still alive. He didn't have blood on his clothes, which if he would have shot her, there would have had some residue of blood.
I honestly don't think nothing happened to her or the daughter. I think because he knew that they were like, you know, it was like her and the daughter, and they never did him any wrong.
Yeah,
he just kind of, because you learn this in the next scene where he has like, actually I'm not gonna go there yet because there's a whole coworker scene, but he's there in the hospital back with
You're right. Okay, we'll talk about that then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So before the coworker scene, he's in the hospital with his mother. And she's still like in I don't want to say her deathbed, but she ain't doing so good.
No.
And so he just gives her like one fucking line, and it's like, I used to think my life was a tragedy, but it's actually a comedy.
Oh
and just
gosh.
like that, this motherfucker suffocates his adopted mother with a pillow.
That was so bad.
Yeah, like you don't see it coming, like just like a snap.
I was
and
like,
then,
yeah, it was.
And then he dips. He's like, fuck this. He didn't even fix her body back, like put the pillow behind her. No, just
he doesn't leave the pillow on top of her though.
No, but I think it's like to the side.
Yeah, because he takes it off of her face when he's done suffocating her, and I just don't know what he does with it after.
Yeah.
But this is why I had to stop taking notes at this point. I was just like, I have never seen this, and it's too much right now.
Yeah. And then some time goes on, and some of his coworkers hear that his mother died.
Yeah, so he goes home, where he's just chilling.
Yeah. Just smoking cigarettes, just having time of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's prepping his makeup and practicing for like the show.
Yeah.
So he's all excited.
Yeah, and it's so it's 2 people that go visit him. It's Randall, the guy that gave him the gun in the beginning, and then it's Gary, the little guy.
The little guy.
Yeah, I don't know how else to say it. How would you say it?
I don't know, because
there's a right way to say it.
There's
and
a right way and a wrong way.
So many wrong ways.
There's so many wrong ways that I'm like, what if I say the word that is offensive?
Yeah.
Yes, he is a smaller fellow, I would say.
He's a shorter guy.
Yeah. Like maybe 3 feet.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I still think little person is acceptable.
He's a little
dude. If it's not, I'm so sorry. But, okay. So anyways, this scene is heavy. There's a lot going on in the scene.
God!
It's very gory. Like, I put gory
God.
scene in all caps. And it's because, homeboy hates the fuck out of Randall at this point.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, Randall's the reason I've lost my job.
Yeah,
In his head, that's how he's seeing it.
Yeah. And I see it that way, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Fuck
like,
it.
Randall gave me this gun for fun, and then now I'm in
The
trouble.
first mistake happened.
Yeah.
And,
So,
Anyways, so, like, they show up to his house, and they're like, hey, I'm sorry about your mother. He's like, oh, don't worry. I'm not mad. And he gets a fucking pair of scissors, and he jabs the fuck out of this into Randall. Like, he's digging these scissors into Randall. And this is what I love. Gary is in the corner. He's just like, oh my God. Oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
yeah, Gary's
fuck.
like,
He doesn't know what to do.
He's just like,
His hands are going up and down, up and down.
and I think, like he's like, because in the beginning, when he first stabs the scissors into Randall, he's like middle of the room. So then he's just like, like taking steps back, and he's like, how much further? Like, I don't know where to go anymore.
Yeah. He's like crawling backwards to a corner.
Oh my God.
And man, Randall's body's on the middle, and I think Gary said some shit like, hey, is it okay if I go? And he's like, hey, Gary, don't worry, man. You were always so nice to me. And he's like, Gary, you could go. So Gary tries to go.
He has to like step over Randall's body, and he's just like making these noises as he's making his way to the door. And then he tries to go, but it's like locked with those chain locks towards the top.
The very top.
And
he can't reach it. No. Mm-mm. And so he's just like, hey, Arthur. And he's like, Gary, I'm so sorry.
Literally, he's so polite. He's like, oh, didn't even notice. I'm so sorry about that, Gary.
I think he legit hugs him before he goes out.
And Gary's like,
oh my God.
I think he does try and hug him, and that's when Gary even like does a flinch thing. What a scene. Like, I was so uncomfortable. I was like shocked, but then also laughing, because I was like, what do I do? Also, I when I get uncomfortable, I laugh to begin with. So then they were making it funny. I'm like,
man, it's like you didn't know whether to laugh or not.
I know. I was like,
mind you, this whole time I was legit staring at Cass.
Yeah, I don't know how he took any notes, because he was just like watching me instead of the film.
Yeah. So
there's just blood everywhere. Blood on the wall, blood in the floor.
I think it was, I hate to say it, but it was like a bit of a comedic relief.
It was.
Just because you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
You don't even think you're going to see his coworkers ever again. You just think it's going to go from him killing his mom to going on the Murray show. Oh,
also, he already killed Thomas and his wife. We forgot to mention that. He already shot them.
Thomas Wayne?
Yes.
That's at the very end.
Isn't that when he's coming out of the theater?
That's at the very end.
At the very end?
Yeah.
Oh, you see, I didn't. I thought it was when he was coming out of the theater.
No. Listen. You don't have any notes about this?
I don't have notes.
You wouldn't know. It's okay.
I know he dies.
Let me follow me on this journey.
We all know that Batman doesn't have parents.
Yes, I know. But it's not him. He doesn't even kill them. Anyways, look.
It's not him?
Stop it. Stop. Stop it right now. Stop in the name of love. Stop. You're getting your shit twisted, all right? Anyways, guys, sorry. She's losing it. She's basically Arthur Fleck right now.
First of all, tone it down 25 notches. My mental stability is a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay, hold
guys,
on.
follow me on my journey, all right? Our journey. So Arthur is at the Murray Studios, and he's getting ready. And he finally ends up meeting Murray, who's like a hero of his, obviously, because he's like, he wants him to be his dad. And he has like one request. And he's like, I want you guys to call me Joker when I'm getting revealed from the curtain. Mm-hmm. So
Oh, he dyed his hair green, by the way. I know this was before the show. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know this is your journey, but I know when he dyed his hair. Okay. He dyed it green.
Yeah.
This happens.
Yeah.
He also has full Joker makeup on.
Yeah, because he was doing it, like you said, when the coworkers were showing up.
Yeah, which then I'm sure he had to redo because like
Blood.
there's like blood, it's on top of the makeup and you want it to be a clean white base. So
yeah, so
makeup tutorials with Cass.
So we're at the show and they finally let him onto the show. He's introduced as the Joker and they're like, "Oh, so you want to be a comedian? So you have jokes. Like, can you tell us a joke?" And he's like, "Yeah, hold on." So he takes out his joke book. He's looking through it.
Hold on. Pause. Before this, he practices his joke, or he's like, knock, knock, and then pretends to shoot himself.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we've seen this. That's number one. And number two, also, there's this whole deal, because remember, there's all these riots with people with clown makeup and clown masks. And then they ask him, like, is this like a political thing? Thinking about all the political riots going on. He's like, no, it's just, I worked as a clown, so it's just what I do.
I was a clown, yeah.
And then they were like, okay, as long as it's not a political thing. And then it's like a little back and forth where they're like, no, like the people are not going to watch and they're not going to like him because of this. So now he's finally on there with his clown makeup. He has a nice suit. Yeah. It's a nice one. I liked it.
It's not bad.
So now he's like, oh, I'm going to tell a joke. You see his notebook again. His notebook gives me like the heebie-jeebies.
It's as frail as him.
No, but there's
because
also
there's
like naked.
Yeah, there's like pornography on it.
Cutouts.
There's like.
But like they don't have heads.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the bodies have heads.
Yeah,
it's very weird.
Torsos.
I don't like it.
It's like some sociopathic.
It gives me the creeps.
Yeah. Anyways, so he starts off with looking for a joke, and he's like, "Oh, okay, so knock knock," and then Murray's like, "Oh, you had to look that up." Arthur doesn't get it. He's just like, okay. So he's like, knock knock, and then he's like, what do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash? And he's like, you get what you deserve. And he shoots him.
Well, no, hold on.
I'm just getting to the highlights here. You want to go into detail
Hold on.
now.
Because that scene was so crazy because he tries a knock knock joke. He's getting made fun of. Then he like makes that joke and he's like, no, we're not doing this. And like the whole crowd is getting hyped up and it's like so crazy and like there's so much yelling and then he's like, you get what you deserve. Blah! And that's when he shoots him and I was like, also did not see this coming at all. At all. There was like an argument and I knew that there was an argument and I knew that he had his gun and I was just like, oh, he's going to kill himself. And there was so much going on and then he just shoots him and I was like,
yeah, like I've seen this movie about 2-3 times where I always think that he just sees Murray Franklin so much as like his dad that he wants so bad from the beginning. Like, because from the very beginning, he thinks in his own La La Land that he's going to confront him, hug him. He's going to be like, I'm so proud of you. I love you, blah, blah, blah. And then at the very end, you're just like, you're seeing him, like you said, he's like practicing the scene. He's going to like say knock, knock, and then kills himself. Mm-hmm. And then he ends up shooting fucking Murray Franklin on his show. And that's just like, when he finally does it, it just creates this whole madness. Everybody fucking loses it. Like there's like crazy, you think there's crazy riots before? Oh, now goodness. Is when like they lit a few cars on fire. They had stolen ambulances, like wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy out there.
Yeah. So I mean it's at the very end of the movie obviously because you just see him kind of ending all his avenues where he just doesn't have a family anymore. He doesn't have a job. Mm-hmm. He's basically shooting somebody on TV. So it's like, yo, what more evidence do you have, right? Like you're convicted for life right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he's taken away.
Yeah, he's in the police car.
He's in the cop car, yeah. And out of nowhere, and here's another scene that I never see coming, where an ambulance strikes the cop car. It kills the cops in the front. They let him free. They take him out of the cop car and they put him on the hood.
That was so crazy to me. First of all, once again, never seen this film. The ambulance hits him, and I'm literally like, what the fuck? So then they grab him out of the car and they put him on the hood, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then they're all like just cheering around him. What the fuck? I had a lot of what the fuck moments, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he becomes an idol.
Yeah, he does.
So, yeah. And then here's where we go to the final moments. Before the scene where they're in the mental institution, where you see him running with blood on his feet. Before that scene, you see the final moments of the Wayne family.
Oh, okay. You see, I was ahead of the game. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So clearly, you see the build of the guy going out of the movie theater on the alleyway. He has a mask on.
Yeah, he has a mask on.
And he has like a leather jacket. Mm-hmm. He just looks totally different.
Yeah.
Right? So, and you can just tell that this person is not Arthur Fleck because, for one, he's able to like run and walk and...
Yeah, and his voice as well. He says something that you could tell it's not his voice. Yeah. Now that I recall.
Yeah, Arthur Fleck right now would not be able to.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's awake yet. I think they show him awake after this scene.
Like he's doing that weird ballerina dance thing at the very end, but that motherfucker ain't walking anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, he just got hit by an ambulance.
Yeah, it was rough out there.
So, yeah, this dude ends up gunning down mom and dad, and then you just see Bruce Wayne, and like the camera just kind of like pans out, and then we get like a really fast cutscene of like Arkham Hospital, whatever you call it, where he's like in the Arkham Hospital, and he's like been admitted to being like crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like he's talking to
a therapist.
But then out of nowhere, this motherfucker starts like running out of the hallway, and it's like a really bright hallway. Yeah. But also another cue of the movie is like he's not gray anymore. He's like,
you're
right. He's like full colored.
Yeah, and he looks fuller too. Like his face looks fuller. It doesn't look as like lifeless. Yeah, like droopy.
Mm-hmm. And that's his true calling. He accepts madness into his life, and as the only thing that makes sense to him.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I see that.
Yeah. Some people accept religion. He accepts madness.
And then it's like you see like his footprints are like
bloody.
Yeah, they're bloodied. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. It was a very, very good film. I don't think it has a strong rewatchability unless you are in a particular mood to feel bad. And that's fine. Guys, something you should know is like I am so happy. I am like the happiest person. Felix can back me up. I'm always smiling. I'm always like in a good mood. And I think my friends would say I'm very like bright and like bubbly. I love feel bad films. I don't know why. Nothing excites me quite like a movie that I'm going to feel bad the entire time through. Sometimes I have to put on Disney Channel because I'm already feel bad. I don't need it. But yeah, this is like a movie where like you really have to be like in a good headspace to rewatch it. But nonetheless, the film is amazing beginning to end. It's wonderful. The acting by everyone is wonderful. The shots, the colors, it was like Felix started off with, it's a work of art. Like it really is. Yeah. And from someone watching it for the first time, I was shocked when like since it was kind of suspenseful, because it's not like a scary movie, but it is like suspenseful and you're kind of on edge. And when things kind of happened, they were shocking. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I kind of expected it to go this way. Like the shocks were there, the editing, the everything was wow. I mean, didn't this movie like win a bunch of awards when it came out? If Joaquin Phoenix did not win an award, I'm going to be hella upset.
Yeah, no, I think it's I think it's in a class of its own. And I honestly would assume that they not only won like one or two awards, I feel like they just won all around. I think like even the Rotten Tomato score was like 93% or something like that.
Okay. He actually won the Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role that year. So I feel very good about that. Also, they got the Academy Award for like Best Music or Original Score, which was great throughout the film.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So yeah, wow. No, they should have. Also, he got the Golden Globe for Best Actor. The Golden Globe for Best Original Score. I see it. They won a Japan Academy Prize. Wow, okay, sorry. They got a lot of awards. Anyways, I just wanted to make sure that Joaquin Phoenix got,
Got his just deserves.
Yeah. He deserved it.
Yeah.
I like him. I think he's a good actor. He's in a lot of things.
All right, so that was the end of my pick.
Yes, next week will be my pick. And once again, I said it was spooky season, guys. So I'm going to commit to it. I've thought of a bunch of different films and I'm like, no, it's spooky season. You said it was spooky season. So, I think
I'm basically fucked for like the next 8 weeks.
Yeah. So guys, just, keep Felix in mind in your prayers or, leave a candle out for him because he does not like scary movies. And, that's what spooky season is about, baby.
Yeah. Send me some Palo Santo. Some holy water.
Why would you say Palo Santo?
Palo Santo.
Palo Santo.
I don't know, because there's like people listening from fucking India and like,
But you can have a Hispanic accent.
Palo Santo. Gotta get the way. Vaya.
Oh my goodness. The people that listen to this will be like, wow, this man doesn't like Bad Bunny. A lie.
Okay, we're off track right now. All right, guys. So, yeah, thanks for listening.
Yes, and stay tuned for next week when I pick a super spooky movie.
Yeah. All right. Talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.